Hi everyone, on this video we bring you up to date with all the important money and tax news for the small business. Welcome everybody to another video where we bring you up to speed on everything that's going on with small business money right now, and particularly in the areas of tax. However, what's dominating the news right now is the keyword furlough and support from HMRC for this COVID-19 crisis. So my team, they've been beavering away, helping small business owners on limited companies, particularly with furlough claims for either their team or in some sad cases themselves where they just can't earn any money. The portal went live on Monday, so it's there, you can claim and you get your payment within 6 working days. At the time of recording this video, of course, we haven't seen the money hit the bank, but we understand that that should be the time scale. So if you're getting it in the first week, you know, you're looking at, you might just squeeze it in on the 30th of April, otherwise you're just into the first week of May, but it is coming. We've done claims for clients, you know, 7-10 grand and things like that. So it's a lot of money that's going to be coming back into small businesses right now. So that's amazing news. A massive shout out to the HMRC IT department, something I'd never think I would say during the 13 years of doing this. There's been some abysmal launches. This, they should have a knighthood for. It was phenomenal. No crashes, no freezes, it's all working. The only complication with it is actually calculating what actually needs to go in the boxes, which is always the way we talk about it often with tax returns. It's 22,000 pages of tax law required to know what figures to put in the tax return. The tax return itself is not amazingly complicated. So, and it's similar with this in a lot of cases where you've got part furlough. So you might be claiming for a few weeks in March where you only stop midway through or something like that. You've also got the problems of can I claim my pension and my employer's NI contributions, which you can. It's calculating those within the HMRC guidance. So if you're doing this yourself, definitely check those out. You can go to healandassociates.co.uk/COVID-19 and all the links to all the relevant places for HMRC are there. The process itself, you need to go and get a government gateway ID and a business tax account, and you can go through and fill in what is really, once you get there, not too difficult a form, but it's all the steps to go through and making sure that the claim's actually correct. That's the difficulty in that. So that is there and it is working and it's been up, so it's brilliant. The only downside is if you actually have a problem, you're really struggling to speak to HMRC. Most of the lines are only open to about 4 o'clock now, and the web chat seems to be one of the better ways of getting involved, but because that goes on till 10 o'clock at night. But even then, you know, it's difficult. A lot of the lines now your phone, and they'll just give you an automated message telling you to phone back later. There's no hold queue facility or anything. So that is a problem, but the actual IT itself held up. So well done, guys. So that's there. That's furlough. So the money is coming back, and there's lots of information at our website on the details of how to do that and what you need to do. But if you're thinking of doing it yourself as a very small limited company with a director, or any limited company with a director, make sure that you aren't carrying out any actual revenue generating work. It is only the absolute minimum statutory stuff that you can do, like making sure your VAT returns in on time and that kind of stuff. The other thing to do is be very careful, because there was a last minute change, is if you're a childcare provider, so you're in receipt of sort of public grant money and that kind of thing, they've announced and shown you some guidance on how you should restrict your furlough claims. Because if you imagine if they're paying you for staff and those grants are still coming in, they're going to expect you to use your money that they've already been given. So there's some very reasonably complex calculations to take into account there. So that is a last minute change, so do check that out. Now, the other one that's got a lot of people excited, because it is a bit all or nothing, is the Small Business Grant Fund. This is the fund that's available for business rates. So oddly, if you don't pay any business rates but you're registered, and you don't pay because you're in receipt of these small business rates relief, you will receive probably a £10,000 grant in the majority of cases. Where people are becoming unstuck is they're realising they haven't actually registered, because they sort of were aware they probably didn't need to pay and then haven't registered, and now is an issue trying to get that done with everybody else piling in for the claims. The way that works is the local authorities write to you and ask you to go online and fill in a form to claim it. That money is in people's banks. We've seen it all over. It does seem to massively depend on which local authority is doing it and where you are in the system. We've seen even under the same local authority, some people have had it in 2 working days, some people wait in 2 weeks. It really is quite vast in terms of what's going on, but that money is getting there. So if that's you, there's also a grant for 25k depending on the size of the premises that you're in, and also whether you're in the retail, hospitality or leisure. But again, all the details of this are on healandassociates.co.uk/COVID-19. And finally, in terms of support for the self-employed, we're still waiting. Unfortunately, HMRC are saying they're still going to be sending letters out late May for claims in June. So for the self-employed, that's non-limited companies, you're going to have to wait still, unfortunately, but it is coming. So hang in there. Universal Credit is your friend in the meantime if you're really, really struggling. And then the other big bit of normal tax news that should be brought up right now, because a lot of people don't know about it, and with everything else going on, it's kind of got forgotten, is if you're actually selling a property. Now, okay, a lot of them aren't really exchanging and completing right now, but the other side of COVID, we could easily see this en masse. If you're selling a residential property that's going to be subject to a capital gain, so let's say you're a landlord and you're selling a buy-to-let off, you're going to have to report to HMRC within 30 days of completion on an online return and pay any tax due, or certainly an estimate of the tax due at that point. This has been in place for non-residents for a few years, and it's coming in now for normal taxpayers out with the Pro. And that's it for now. So that's all the update on the support that's available. It's all going, it's coming in, money's arriving. It's just a bit of a slow process. And when you have got a query, unfortunately, trying to get hold of HMRC right now is really, really difficult. So all I can do on that is say keep trying, speak to your accountant, see if there's anything they can do and suggest in terms of other avenues to correct that, and go from there. Until next time, stay safe, have a profitable and tax efficient couple of weeks, and we'll see you on the next one.